Hello everyone, welcome to the another session of Digital Signal Processing. I am Aruna Tyagi, Assistant Professor at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. So for today's session, we are going to discuss the observed topics, realization of digital systems. But before realizing any digital system, we must know the basics about it, the basic building blocks about it. Then we will be discussing about classification of digital system as recursive and non-recursive system, and also one more classification exists as canonic and non-canonic structures. Then we will be starting the discussion about digital filters, which has been categorized as FIR and IIRs, and then we will start realizing the IIR filters, maybe the one or the two structures which are possible in this session. So to begin with, when we are realizing the digital system, what are the basic building blocks that we would require to create the block diagram of particular system? So we can see that whenever we are designing a digital system, we would require three entities: adders, multipliers and delay elements. So we will see whenever we are designing all these circuits using these adders, multipliers and delay elements, so most of these circuits would have only these three elements. So how do we make a block diagram using these elements? We can see whenever we talk about this adder circuit, I can see that it is a plus sign having accompanied by this particular circle, and I must have these minimum two signals which have been coming here to this adder block diagram, and then we get some output which is the addition of n number of the input. So mostly we can see we would have these two signal as x1n and x2n, but we can have n number of signal at this input as well. So output would be summation of all the inputs that we are giving to the summer. Second entity would be my multiplier. It is some kind of a weight that I want to assign to my signal. It can be any integer number 2, 4, 10, 20, 50. So it is a triangle, and whatever multiplier coefficient I want to multiply my signal with, this is written either inside this triangle or I may write it outside this triangle as well if I have the problem of space inside this particular triangle. The third entity is my delay element. That means if I want to observe or I want to work with the previous samples, for example, if I have an input signal say xn and I want to work with some previous signal which is x of say n minus 1 or n minus 2 or so on, these are the delayed by 1 unit or delayed by 2 unit or delayed by n unit. So if I want to observe the past samples of my signal, then I would have to use this particular entity that is represented by z raised to the power minus 1. Now here with this entity, I need to keep in mind certain observations, certain important points. That is, if my delay is say 3 units, x of n minus 3, or if I want to show it in the form of the inverse, in the form of Z transform, then what kind of block can I use? I need to remember that if I want to give a delay of more than 1 unit, maybe 2, 3, 5 or 10, I cannot use Z raised to the power minus 3 here. That would be a wrong assumption in the block diagram. So this is particularly a wrong block diagram. If I want to represent this z raised to the power minus 3, then I would have to use 3 series block diagram of z raised to the power minus 1 itself. So that means there is no entity like z raised to the power minus 2 or z raised to the minus 3. I would have to use the consecutive blocks of z raised to the power minus 1 to represent delay of n units. So whenever we will be realizing any kind of circuit, any kind of transfer equation, we will be using a permutation and combination of only these 3 elements. So before proceeding to the realization, we need to discuss two categories of the structures that will be able to create, that is canonic and non-canonic structure. So this is another property which we derive from the delay element that we have just discussed as z raised to the power minus 1. So what does it say? If we have a digital structure, we say it canonic if number of delay, that is the z raised to the power minus 1 block in the block diagram representation, is equal to the order of the transfer function. So whatever equation do I have, for example, if I have a transfer function hz and I represent it here like z raised to the power minus 3, then how many number of delay units I am using? The maximum power is 3. Then in my block diagram, if I am using only z raised to the power minus 1 3 times, so if this power and number of delay lines I am using in my circuit both are equal, I call that structure as canonic. But if that mismatches, the order of the system is not equal to number of z inverse that I am using in my circuit, then I call that circuit as non-canonic structure. So when we start realizing these structures, we'll see that some of these structure formats give me the canonic representation and some of the structure lead into the non-canonic realizations. So this is some of the examples we can see here from particular So this is one particular equation which is given in the time domain. So here I can see yn is the function of one delay unit of output y of n minus 1, and it is also the function of xn and x of n minus 1. So looking at this equation, the maximum power that I have or maximum number of transfer function is 1, that is the delay unit that I must incorporate into my circuit, that should be 1. But if I make a circuit appearing like this, we'll be designing this circuit meanwhile. So I can see here this is a circuit corresponding to this equation, but number of z inverse unit here are 2. So the power in the maximum power possible in this equation is 1, but in this circuit we are utilizing 2 delay units. So this results into a structure which would be called as non-canonic. Next category that we must know before studying FIR and IAR is recursion and non-recursion. A structure when it is called as recursive and a structure when it is called as non-recursive. So you see that the recursive system is a system in which the current output depend upon the previous output and inputs, but a non-recursive system is the one which depends upon the previous, does not depend upon the previous output. So I must look at the particular equation. For example, if my output of a system is yn and it has all the terms of xn, maybe the present sample or maybe some past samples, this equation going till n number of samples. So if I look at this particular equation which is having only the output is being equated to the samples which are only the input, maybe the present input, maybe the past input. These kind of systems are categorized under non-recursive kind of system. Now if I have another equation, say y of n is y of n minus 1 plus xn, or maybe some delayed samples of xn. So here I can see the yn is dependent upon y of n minus 1, that is the previous output of the system, and these are the same input, the input at this present time and the delayed input. So this kind of equation where my output is dependent upon the previous sample of output as well, this kind of system would be called as recursive system. So by looking at this equation, I can simply classify or differentiate between two kinds of system as recursive and non-recursive. Now moving on to the categories of digital filter that we have to design, that we have to realize. So we have two types of digital filters. So basically the broad category is that digital and analog. We can design filters as analog filter as well, but because we are uncovering about digital circuits and digital signal processing, so we'll focus on to the digital part only. Further classifying this digital system into two categories, FIR and IAR. So let us know a bit more about these two systems. Firstly, talking about the FIR filters. So the digital filter whose impulse response is of finite duration is known as finite impulse response filter. So we have to see about this impulse response. So whenever I have a system, say this is any system which is working maybe in time domain, or it may be working in the input of system, say be it is xt and yt is the output of the system. So in this case the output is the convolution between the input signal and the transfer function of this particular system. So this yt is what I call as the response of the system. Now if I specify this input xt to be impulse type, impulse signal is the one which exists only at one time instant, say t is equal to 0. So if I specify this input signal as impulse signal, then output of this system yt is called as the impulse response of that particular system. So in the term of the impulse response, how do we talk about or how do we classify this particular system? If this impulse response is of finite duration or it exists only for time duration, say t1 to t2, and the sample within that duration, the output samples within that duration are also finite, I call that filter as FIR filter or finite impulse response filter. So it would have finite number of non-zero terms. The system has a particular equation. For example, this is the equation as Hn is 2 for n less than equal to 4. So if I try to plot this particular function, then I can see that for n less than 4, so this is 4, all the sample values are 2. So I have these 5 sample values equal to 2. So finite number of outputs are available as 2 and duration is also finite, and at other places beyond 4 and from this end of the negative axis also I cannot see any output which is equal to 0. So these kind of examples defining this particular system would be called as FIR systems. So the response of FIR system depend upon only the present and past input sample. There would be no term as corresponding to the output sample. So as we had discussed about the non-recursive system, they also do not have any output term in their system transfer function. So similar way, FIR system would also won't have any sample from their past output. So this is another standard form representation of my FIR system, as Yn equal to Bi's are the coefficient or the multiplier that we would multiply our signal with, and these are Xn and the delayed samples of my input. So this FIR filters, they may also be called as a non-recursive filter, but this is not necessary. There are some systems of the FIR which can be represented as a recursive filter as well, but for our convenience most of the time we talk FIR filter as to be non-recursive filters. So this is how do we represent my FIR system. I can see this is Xn. This is a straight line showing the Xn is being inputted to this summer directly. I have taken this Xn here and this is my delay term. That means I have calculated X of n minus 1 here, and then I have multiplied it with the coefficient equal to B. So at this particular term I am getting B of X of n minus. So these arrows show me this is a forward path. This arrow also shows me the forward path. So whenever I am designing an FIR system, I would see that all the connections that I am drawing here, they would be feed forward paths only. So what are the advantages of FIR filters? The very first and the most important advantage of this filter is that they have the exact linear phase. That means whenever I would get certain kind of output, that would not be distorted. So it would find its application into those areas where I cannot tolerate any kind of frequency dispersion, any kind of non-linearity into the phase. They may be proving harmful. For example, it may be in the speech processing, any kind of data transmission where high level of security or privacy is required and no kind of distortion is tolerated, for example in the medical analysis of the signal. Second advantage is that these FIR filters are very stable in nature. Round of noise can be eliminated. Round of noise generally appear into these circuits because we are using digital systems for their processing. Next advantage is that FIR filters can be efficiently implemented in multi-rate DSP system. Multi-rate DSP system is where we implement multiple sampling rates, and moreover they can reduce the computation complexity as well. So when we were designing pure FIR filter using mathematics, we could see this ease of computation of FIR filters. There are two disadvantages of these filters. One being, as a large number of impulse response samples are required if I want to have a sharp cutoff of FIR filters, and due to which my output would be providing some kind of delay, or I would be able to perform slow convolution. Another disadvantage is that it is completely related to the first disadvantage from itself. The delay of linear phase FIR filters can sometimes create problem in the DSP application. Wherever speed is important, thereover because of the large number of convolution, the speed can be reduced. So substitute for such kind of problems can be my next type of filter, which is IIR filter, infinite impulse response filter. So the way we have defined impulse response of FIR filter, a similar definition goes for the IIR filter as well. So now here also, if impulse response would be now of the duration which is infinite, I do not have a time limit or a duration in which I am getting my output. Note the output is going to be certain integer. The duration can be infinite and the output of the system can be infinite. So these kind of samples producing systems are called as infinite impulse response filters. So the response of this particular filter, that is the function of the current and past input signal, in the same way as we talked about FIR filter, but yes, there is an addition, output samples as well. So whenever we are designing IIR filter, there is a must combination that my input samples and output samples both would be contributing to my final output. So this is the equation. Here I can see these are certain coefficient as AI and BI, and these are the samples from the input and these are the sample from the past output. This is one of the example that if I have an xn input plus B is the coefficient multiplier and this is my output. So this is my simple first order difference equation representing an IIR filter. Now talking about recursive and non-recursive, because again it has certain terms of the output samples, I would categorize this kind of filter into recursive filter, but again not necessarily. It is on my convenience that I would like to represent IIR filter as the recursive process, but there may be certain equations which can be represented by non-recursive process as well. So in this diagram what I can see, this xn is being delayed by 1 unit, but I have taken the output from this particular terminal. This is being the output, this is being the input, and this is being multiplied with the value b and being added over here. So what can I observe? That I have a feed forward path and also I have a feedback path. So whenever we have this output kind of term into my transfer function, I would have a path which is going back towards the input. This is a combination of feed forward plus feedback path. Feed forward may or may not exist depending upon the transfer function for which we are creating the circuit. So various advantages of these IAR filter. The very first being, an IAR filter has lesser number of side lobes. So whenever we talk about the side lobes, we try to minimize the side lobes or back lobes of a system so that I am not losing the energy. Next advantage is that when I am implementing IAR filter, I would require fewer parameter to execute the similar filtering operation as with the case of FIR system. The memory requirement would be less and they would work faster. So if the speed is the choice, I would choose the IAR filter. The two have a disadvantage completely opposite of that we have with the IAR filter. They do not have linear phase. That means we have to tolerate certain kind of frequency dispersion or distortion into the signal, and they are not very stable. So if my signals are very much dependent upon the phase, I may not use the IAR filters. And another disadvantage is that realization of IAR filter is not very easy. So when we will be designing IAR system, it will require a lot of mathematical computations. So both of the filter have their own advantages and disadvantages, and we would choose one kind of filter depending upon our requirement of the application. So moving on to the realization, both kind of filter have their different types of realization. First, talking about IAR filter realization, we have four different formats as direct form realization, cascade realization, parallel and ladder realization. We will be discussing this realization one by one, beginning with direct form. So here when we talk about direct form, we can further classify them as direct form 1 and direct form 2 structures. So these IAR response filters, we have already discussed that they should have passed output. So whenever we talk about the difference equation, we would have the term of yn onto the right hand side along with the xn. Otherwise, infinite number of coefficient in the output would not be possible. So this is a generalized equation for this kind of system where I can see all these samples are representing my past output. This is showing my current input and this is showing my past input. So this is a kind of equation looking at which I can identify for which I am going to plot my realization or block diagram. Similar equation in the form of the rational fraction can be representing like this. All the coefficient of b, that is this part of the equation in the numerator, and this part of equation all the a coefficient in the denominator. So we can talk them about like having all the zeros of my transfer function in the numerator and all the poles of my transfer function in the denominator. Another concise form of representation is like this, derived from this particular equation as summation of the equation, where these bk's are my feed forward coefficient or talking about the zeros of the system, and ak's are the feed back coefficient talking about the poles of my system. So these would be the standard equation in which my system transfer function should exist, so that I start plotting my realization or block diagrams. So if I have my this transfer function in which numerator has n number of zeros and denominator has n number of poles, how would I try to plot the diagram in the direct form 1? The steps are, I would take these two equations separately. I would consider that these are true transfer function. Let me say this transfer function is h1z and this denominator is h2z. So I would try to plot them individually. So this is my first equation being representing as h1z, and this is my second equation being represented as h2z. So what is the step for creating the diagram? I have told you that whenever we are realizing a digital system, 3 blocks would be required: adder, multiplier and delay unit. So I can see wherever I see n minus 1 term, maybe with x or maybe with y, I need a delay unit. Whenever I t this P1, P0, P2 and P3, I would require a multiplier. and for every summation I would require a adder. So for this equation my block diagram would appear something like this. So here I can see when I have xn is being directly fed up to this multiplier, this would give me p naught and xn. This is my first part of the equation. When this is passing through z minus 1, this is giving me x of n minus 1 being multiplied by p1 is giving me the second part of the equation. From here I am getting x of n minus 2 multiplied by p2 giving me this third part of the equation, and finally when it is being passed from the last sample, say x of n minus 3 multiplied by p3 giving me the last section, and all these signals that we have generated being added together, and here I obtain my Wn or H1Z, the first part of the equation. Looking at the second part of the equation in this similar way, I can see I have Wn is this output which I have received from the previous part, which I can denote as H1Z, the first part of my transfer function Hz. Then I have y of n minus 1. To get y of n minus 1, I would have to start from right hand side where I would show my output. Similarly, y of n minus 2 and y of n minus 3. So how does the structure look like? Structure look like this. In the similar way, we started with the xn here. We'll be starting with yn here. So yn delayed by 1 unit, delayed by 2 unit, 3 unit, all added together resulting into another signal. Previous signal is being coming from this block diagram. So both of these signals are being added over here. So ultimately H1Z and H2Z are added together. So what would be my combined structure? The combined structure would look like this. This is my first part H1Z. This is my second part H2Z, and here in this intermediate stage is what I was obtaining Wn. So this Yn is now giving me the desired equation that I wanted to plot. So this is a structure which we have drawn looking at the equation step by step, and we plotted it. So this is called direct form 1 structure. Now from this structure only I can derive another format of structure which is called at direct form 2. Now again, if I want to revise that what kind of structure this particular structure can be categorized into, we have seen the maximum power or maximum delay which a system had was n minus 3, and in the equation the maximum delay was y also n minus 3. So maximum order goes to 3. But if I count the number of delay unit, they are 6. So they are not equal. The order of the system and the number of delay unit that we are using is not equal. So we categorize this particular structure as non-canonic form of structure. So this is one of the simple example to show you how this particular transfer function can be plotted using direct form 1 structure. So this is the corresponding result when we derive this equation as df1. Now we will derive df2 structure, direct form 2 structure, from the direct form 1 structure itself. How? See, from that previous structure I have to see different nodes, node 1 and 1 dash, node 2 and 2 dash, similarly the third node 3 and 3 dash. So I can see in this structure, this is my node 1, this is my 1 dash, this is 2 and this is my 2 dash, 3 and 3 dash. So these nodes I can see they seem to be similar. With this delay unit, what do I get? I get one delay output as x of n minus 1, and after this delay item I am getting y of n minus 1. So these two delay units are performing the same operation, that is delaying my signal by the 1 unit. So these two blocks can be shared. Rather than having two delay unit, I can use them in sharing. Similarly, the node 2, I can share these two delay elements, and similarly the third delay element can be shared. So how does this sharing appears? Now I'll draw my particular circuit as this. These two elements being shared, if I draw them onto the central branch. So when I talk about this direction, here I would be getting my y of n minus 1, and in this direction I would be getting my x of n minus 1. So this is how we are performing the sharing of delay element. Or the other way of doing this particular circuit is just pick up this right block, pick up this right block and place at the left of the first block and combine these two units. So I would result into this kind of structure. So I have not done any mathematical computation. I have simply rearranged these two structure. The later part has been drawn before the first part, and then both the part have been clubbed together, and I am resulting into this kind of structure. This is a structure to which I called as direct form 2 structure. So I can see the direct advantage of doing this rearrangement of the structure. Here in the first structure I see 6 number of delay elements and 6 number of the adders as well. When I am drawing this particular circuit, I have same number of adders, but I can see that number of delay elements have been reduced by half. Here we were using 6, here we are using 3. So in this way we are reducing the number of delay elements. So this is the advantage of my direct form 2. So again, if I need to categorize this direct form 2 structure as canonic or non-canonic, I would say that this particular structure is canonic because the maximum power of order of the equation was 3, and this structure is also accompanying 3 delay elements. So these kind of structure are my canonic structures. Let's quickly see one of the difference equation in the partial form, here in the fractional form, how to draw the direct form 2 structure. So this is a direct form 2 structure for the particular equation in which these are my zeros and these are my poles of the equation, and these are the coefficient multipliers having 3 number of delay element. The maximum power of this particular equation is 3. So in this way we can design my direct form 1 and direct form 2 structures. So maybe in the next session we will be discussing about another form of realization of IAR system, that is cascade, parallel and ladder realization. This is all for this session. Thank you.